ShartimusPrime, ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking bad shit. Subscribe.
Hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another McFarlane Toys action figure review wave. I'm doing the whole wave on the DC Multiverse Batman Metals, the Merciless Collect to Build wave. If you're trying to get your DC Multiverse figures, you can do so at
Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
While you're down there, I ask you to please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you're new here, as well as that notification bell. And a big thanks to McFarlane Toys for setting me up with half of this wave. I bought the other half. They had samples of only half of it. No problem, just had to buy the other half. So the ones I picked up, and big shout out to Leah, by the way, we have the Batman Who Laughs with the Sky Tyrant wings right here. And then we have the Robin Earth -22. And I have one of the other variants, so I only have 2 out of the 3 of these. So that's one of them. And then you can see the open mouth version that I have right over here. And then I also have the Batman figure, which you can see right over here. And then there's poster image, or the comic cover image on the back. So there's Batman. And then we have the Infected Superman right there. I don't know if he's just known as the Infected, but it says Superman the Infected. And you can see that comic image on the back right over there. All right, let's get to it and crack these things open. And here are the figures out of the packaging, and no, they do not all fit on my rotating base, but we will shortly discuss the things I don't like and the things that I do like about them. However, first, let's take a closer look at some of the accessories. So each of these figures come with their own trading card, as well as their standard issue DC Multiverse base right here with the DC logo tampered on there and the peg sticking up. I wish we got one for the Merciless Build-A-Figure. Paulette brought that up, and I thought that'd be a great idea if they somehow figured out a way to incorporate a card for the Build-A-Figure, or the Collect to Build figure, I mean. But anyway, here's the Batman Who Laughs with the Sky Tyrant variant, wings on there and armor and everything, looking very cool. And then right here on the back, there's a read-up. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it right now. And then here's the Negative Earth 22 Robins. And again, I only have 2 of the variants out of the 3. I need the crooked jaw one, but yeah, this image looks very cool. There's a read-up over there on the back. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it right now. And then here's the Dark Knight Metal Batman comic image, looking pretty cool. Bloody face, axes, read up on the back. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it right now. And then here's the Infected Superman, or is he called just the Infected? But I really like that image, and I really like this design a lot. And there's a read up right over there. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it right now. So starting with the Batman Who Laughs, I was not expecting to see so much new sculpting going on with this figure. You know, I just thought they were adding some wings and some straps, but the head sculpt is brand new, as you can see, compared to the other version. We do get a little bit of the guinea pig teeth right over there, but other than that, I really love the paint, and I really like the sculpt throughout most of it. You get some nice stitches right here on the top of the head. I love how we get this nice brown wash over the silver, making it look all rusty and everything, so I really dig that. These wings are spectacular. Look at that. All those feathers, man, the detail here in the sculpt is just gorgeous. I really don't have any complaints with these. I just really love these wings. These look badass. Man, very, very nice coloring on them as well. You can see some more copper color right over here on the back, or some copper color, because we get some in the front right there with the armor. Very cool looking detail right over here in the sculpt with these like little clips and everything holding everything together. The arms are reused, the hands are new, and then the legs are reused as well. But this looks like it's all different. Yeah, well, it is all different, right? The whole lower trench coat part. I love how it's all tattered right over here on the back. I mean, the sculpted detail throughout on this thing is pretty amazing. So very happy with that, man. This thing looks great. I'm not a big fan of these boots because they do curl up right here at the bottom, and that makes it tricky to stand. I hate it when that happens with figures. It just lends to a lot of falling. So that's a bummer, but he does have peg holes and treads at the bottom of the feet. So to quickly go through the articulation on the Batman Who Laughs, his head will move up a little bit and downward. You can turn the head side to side. You do get a good amount of head pivoting right there. The wings can rotate, and you can flare them outward. They are hinged, and they are hinged right over over here in the middle as well. You could bend him in that much. You do get the butterfly joints moving forward and back. Shoulders move outward, forward, and back right there. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. The wrists are on the pin, so you can turn him side to side, or up and down, or horizontally, depending on how you have it configured. He'll not crunch forward. He'll crunch back more so. You do get, the pivot doesn't work, but you can turn side to side right over there at the waist. Then the hips move outward that far, and then he will kick forward that much and back a whole bunch. No upper thigh cut there, and he does have double jointed knees that bend in all the way. He does have the heel to the butt right there, and then the ankles do move down. They move up. You can turn them side to side. He has beautiful ankle pivot and toe articulation. Then here's looking at one of the 3 Negative Earth 22 Robins, and I love these things. They look fantastic. Love the paint apps right here. Love this design. The sculpt and everything is just fantastic on this. And I also love this other head sculpt right over here. Man, that looks great. Freaky and scary looking. Just love these. Yeah, and I think it's great that they incorporated this whole running change thing with these figures too. Unique head sculpts, man. And then the chain you do have to attach yourself. It's a real metal chain, and you just hook it around the top of the little loop right over there. Fairly easy to do, and I do like all the sculpted detail that we're going to see throughout. I mean, these DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys figures just have crazy sculpts through and through, so you're going to hear me say that a lot, how much I love the sculpt of these. I mean, look at that. You get these little scars in the skin and all that. The gloves look very wrinkly and natural. I love all like how the legs are all beaten up and everything. So very decomposed Robin figure right here. The little booties right there look pretty good. There's looking at the back. Gotta say, I love how they incorporated this material right here. That's very soft and pliable for the shorts as well as the torso. You can see some nice stitching and everything. And then there's looking at the cape. And of course, while the heads are unique to each other, the bodies are the same, the capes are the same. So I have some gripes with the articulation on the Robins, but you can move their heads up very far. They will look down a bit. You can turn side to side. Good head pivoting right there. The shoulders move outward, and there's no butterfly joint here. Well, no, I could feel the butterfly joint shifting forward and back. Totally wrong about that. You could rotate forward, rotate back. You get a mid bicep cut right there. Single jointed elbow that I wish he had double joints, but because I guess it's a smaller figure, but it does bend in more than 90 degrees, which is good. And it does not rotate there, but you get wrists that turn side to side, and they hinge up and down. This whole cuff right over here on the glove does hinder a little bit, but one thing I really love about the articulation on this figure is the torso. They have this pliable material over the whole torso right here, so it allows for ab crunching, and it's all seamless. Now, it does look a little bit bent and a little bit weird right there, but I still think that's really cool that they incorporated this kind of articulation with having like this whole kind of sleeve covering coming over it. I think it looks dope. You get waist swivel, and then the hips move outward very far, and he can kick forward and back, and there is an upper thigh cut in there. Wow. Oh no, I just ripped it apart. It's on a ball joint. Okay, so that's why that's happening. Wow, which is different. Usually they have a whole like clip system in there instead. So you do get rotation there since it's on a ball joint. And then a single jointed knee. I prefer double jointed knees. And then the ankles are kind of caught by these cuffs right over here on the boots, and you can move them down just a little bit, up a lot more so, and then you get side to side movement, a little bit of ankle pivot, and then he does have toe articulation. And then here's looking at the Dark Knight's Metal Batman, and I gotta dig into more of this stuff. I read some of these books, but I need to read more. I really like this head sculpt. I love that mean, grimacing scowl. Really like the flesh tone right here. The eye paint looks pretty solid. And yeah, man, not a bad looking Batman at all. This looks like it needs to be broken up a little bit to me. There is something just a little bit odd over here with only neck articulation, and I'll get into the articulation a little bit more, but I really love how the whole suit looks, and we get a darker gray over this slightly lighter gray color, which is actually really neat. It adds some depth here. I don't like how the pecs kind of seem to have a lot of weird like sculpting angles on them. That kind of throws me off a little bit, but I only notice that when I look at it very closely, you know what I mean? It looks like it almost needs to be smoothed out somehow. But anyway, I really like this texturing right over here, you know, these little armor pieces. The cape looks great. It has this cool, you know, wafting to the side direction thing, which I like, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's like I'm not the biggest fan of pre-posed figures, but for some reason when it comes to the capes, it doesn't bother me as much, and I don't know, it just adds to it, especially like this where it's not over dramatic, you know what I mean? But anyway, you get some nice texturing again right over here on the gloves, so that looks, you know, and feels very leathery like. You could feel the texturing right over there. He does come with 2 axes, and I love that we get all these dents and everything, so that's great. Nice wrap around the axe right there. And same thing with this one right over here. One of these did come a little bit warped. Yeah, it was this one, just a tiny little bit warped right over there. So really not that big of a deal. Anyway, looking at the belt, looks great. Loving the little nicks and everything on the sides. Then here's looking at the bat back. A lot of muscles, bat butt. I like how the legs have these scratches in them and everything. So he's really been through it. You can see a little bit of a tear. Having some flesh tone underneath would have been nice to see. Maybe some blood. I don't know if they can do that. Oh, they at least added some paint underneath right over here. So, hey, you know, kind of makes sense that there would be layers to the suit, right? You know, he would be prepared. He is Batman. But yeah, love that texturing right there again on the boots. And he does not have treads, but we do get peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And to go over the axe-wielding Batman, or I like to call him Baxman. Ah, that's not funny. Anyway, you can move the head not up at all. That's a bit of a bummer. Again, I said I wish this was broken up so that we can get more articulation, so that bums me out. However, you can move the head downward. You get side-to-side motion right here, and you do get head pivoting, or neck pivoting anyway. You do get the butterfly joints that shift forward and back. You can move the shoulders outward that much, in and forward, back, biceps swivel right there. You do get the double jointed elbows, and then same pin articulation right here with the wrists, even though you do have this whole piece of the glove that does hinder it from bending backwards. You get a good diaphragm joint that turns side to side, good diaphragm pivot, crunches forward, crunches back, and then you do get similar waist articulation right here where you can turn side to side, and a little bit of pivoting at the waist, and with both joints crunching forward, you'll move that much forward, and with both joints moving back, you'll just move that far backward. The hips move outward that far, and he will kick forward. He will kick back a tiny bit, a little bit of upper thigh wiggling right there. Double jointed knees, and then the ankles do move down. They do not really move up. They are hindered by the way this boot is sculpted. You do get ankle pivot right there and toe articulation. And then here's the Infected, or Superman, or the Infected Superman. It reminds me of Bad Religion either way, but I love this head sculpt right here, and I gotta say, this is my favorite figure of the wave just right off the bat. I love seeing the Boy Scout with this scary looking face and all this detail, the veins right there, the mouth, dude, this is amazing. I just love this thing. And the whole figure looks awesome. I love the paint detail right here with the blue over the black. Absolutely dig that. The build of this Superman, I just feel like it's a really good buck for Superman. I really like it a lot. The arms look really good. I like it a lot more than the Action Comics 1000 version. And then you get this nice subtle purple over the blue, which I really dig. I mean, adding depth to the sculpt and everything with the figure just looks great, man. Very, very happy with this. You get some seams right over there. Then there's looking at the other arm. He does come with interchangeable hands, so you do have these wide open hands that do have this like very pale zombie-like look to them, which is just really cool. It's really hard to kind of, I don't know, it definitely has like this cadaver color to it, which I think is super appropriate for this. So I really like that a lot. So yeah, he comes with two fists and then these two open hands right over here, these two grabby hands. I love how the Superman symbol came out right there. The cape looks really good. It's all short and very tattered and everything. It has some nice texturing to it, which you can see right here. A little bit of extra paint smudge, so that's a little bit of a bummer. Then there's looking at the shorts. The legs look really good right here and everything. And then I like how the boots came out. There's the back of the figure. You can see the back, Superman butt, or infected butt. Anyway, that does not sound right. And then there's looking at the feet, and he does have peg holes. And again, this Superman figure is dope. I love that you can move the head all the way up. That's great. You can move the head downward a bit. You get side-to-side motion, head pivoting right there. Butterfly joints move forward and back, shift up and down a little bit. Shoulders move outward that much. You can move them down. Fully rotate. Full-on bicep swivel right there, and then you get a double-jointed elbow. Then the wrist turns side to side, hinge up and down, or vertically, and then you can turn the diaphragm joint. You get diaphragm pivot, crunches forward a little bit, crunches back. You do get a waist swivel, a little bit of waist pivot with both joints. He'll crunch forward that much, and with both torso and ab joints right there, he'll move back that much. And then the hips move outward that far, and you can kick forward and back, and then you don't really get an upper thigh cut. I really wish you could get that in there with almost like all the DC Multiverse would be great. The knees don't bend in all the way, but that's pretty good for me. I like that still. And then the ankles do move down. They do move up. You can rotate the ankle side to side. You do get ankle pivot and toe articulation. And then here's looking at the Connect to Build or Collect to Build Merciless, which is basically an Ares Batman right here, or Batman Ares, and I really like this a lot. My favorite color is blue. This is a very tealish blue color. I did not expect to see so much silver on this figure, though. I love the light touches of silver right over here on the front. The eye paint looks very clean. You get these bat wings right over here on the very top. Really love the metallic sheen throughout. I'm not seeing any weird marbling or anything like that. Take notes, Hasbro. It looks really good over here. And look at that. Do you see swirling or anything like that in the plastic? I'm not really seeing that. Like, when I think I see it, it's just reflections. So that looks very clean. I love the silver paint right here on the shoulders. That looks great. Really liking that fur sculpt right there on the back. You get the chainmail armor underneath right over here with paint detail. It's hard to pick up on the camera. There you go. You can see it a little bit better, right? So that's very neat. Love how the arms came out right here. A lot of great sculpted detail throughout on this. I don't like how the ball joints look. They really stand out, but I really like how the hands look. And then he does come with this gold sword right here, which does not look bad. I like the sculpt of it and everything. But I gotta give a big thanks to Paul Lutz for hooking me up with his custom sword. He said that, I know it doesn't look like this in the comics, but, he just likes how the silver goes with the Merciless a little bit better, and I love how this pops, you know what I mean? He painted the inside of all these creases black right over here, so you could really see that sculpted detail, and the grip right over there for the handle looks awesome as well. So big thanks, Paul Lutz, for letting me buy this from him for super cheap, really appreciate it. So I'm going to have him displayed holding both of these swords when I get my display going. I'm really liking this a lot, so yeah, great job, dude. Really like this. But getting back to the figure, you could see that you get some, you get the Wonder Woman logo right there with the Bat logo all at the same time. And I do need to read these books, so I would like to know more about that. I like the texturing right over there. And then you get the skull. Very much reminds me of Spawn over here with the chains and all that. Or it's like a barbed wire chain going on. So that's very neat. I really like that. These hip pieces look good. Again, the back of this little, loincloth is nicely textured. The legs look great. The only problem I had putting this together was the left leg. I just feel like I still have a little bit of a gap right here, so that bothers me some. So that's the only problem with putting it together. But other than that, fairly easy to do. I did heat it up, though. It's just a little bit easier heating things up. It's so funny. Every time I feel like I see a little bit of marbling, I'm like, oh, wait, nope, that's not it. That's just sculpted detail in there, so that's not marbling. But yeah, looking at the feet, looks really good. Then there's looking at the bottom, and you can see that there are peg holes underneath the feet. Now, the articulation on the Merciless is a bit tricky to work with, especially with this head, and you get this whole collar around the head, so you can only move the head side to side that much. It does tilt a little bit, but yeah, these wings really get in the way. And as far as moving upward, it won't, and downward just a little bit. The shoulder pads are on ball joints, so you can rotate them around, shift up and down. And then you do get butterfly joints right here that move forward and back. You can move the shoulders outward all the way. You can move them in. You can rotate all the way forward, rotate all the way back, and then no bicep swivel, but you do get a single jointed elbow right there, and no rotation in the arm at all, so that's a little bit frustrating. The wrist turns side to side. You can hinge up and down or horizontally, depending on how you have that ball joint facing, and then you do have this whole piece on the back right here that does hinder it from moving backward. You do get a diaphragm joint right here, and it does have some diaphragm pivoting. Crunches forward along with the waist joint just that much, and with both joints he'll move backwards that much. And of course you can move that waist joint as well, and you do get waist pivoting right there, so with both joints going he'll move and shift that much. Hips move outward pretty far, and he will kick forward, he will kick back. There is a little bit of upper thigh cut swivel right there. Well, it's not a cut, but it is wiggling a bit more so than some of the other figures. And then you do get a single jointed knee right here. Ow, that is a pretty spiky figure, but yeah, I wish we had double jointed knees, but it's only a single jointed knee, and it does not quite meet that 90-degree mark. And then you do get ankles that move down. They do move up. He does have beautiful ankle pivot right here. You can turn the ankles side to side, and he does have toe articulation. So to measure out these figures, you can see that the Merciless figure is standing at around the 9.5-inch mark, and then the Superman and Batman figures are around the 7 to 8-inch mark. It's kind of a trip seeing the Batman standing taller than the Superman. Then you have the Robin figure standing at about 6.5 inches, and then the Batman Who Laughs is standing a little over the 7-inch mark. And then for a size comparison, I guess this has been my largest DC Multiverse figure up until getting this Merciless Build-A-Figure or Collect-A-Build figure right here. You can see we have the Devastator. And then you can see the Infected Superman right there next to the Action Comics 1000 Superman. They stand at about the same height. And then I wanted to bring in the Thomas Wayne or Flashpoint Batman figure right here for comparison. You can see he's a little bit shorter than this Batman right here. And then you can see the first DC Multiverse Batman Who Laughs figure next to the Negative Earth 22 Robin. And then we have the Skywing Tyrant version right over there. And then here's a couple of the figures next to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Big Time Badass Spider-Man. And no stop motion today, you guys. I will be taking a break shortly, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, and a big extra thanks to all these people over here that support this channel. If you are interested in the perks, you want to become a patron or a member, click the join button or the link in the description below. I really like this figure set a lot, man. These are dope figures. I think all the figures from this wave are pretty good, but by far, for me, my favorite one is this Infected Superman right here. I just love this figure. This is already one of my favorite Superman figures in my collection. This thing is just truly badass. I love the face sculpt, and I really like all of them. I have my little complaints here and there, you know, with each of these, you know, and I'm going to complain, and you can see how large this Merciless figure is. Big thanks again, Paul Lutz, for the awesome custom sword right there. Love this thing, so definitely got to keep them displayed with both of these. Even though it's not comic accurate, I think it's badass. So yeah, it's a very good set of figures, and I gotta say, like, for the Superman figure, I'm going to give it a stud rating of... I love it! And then for the rest of the figures of this wave, which I really do like a lot, I'm going to give them a separate sub rating of... It's not so bad. And I'd like to know what you guys think, so please let me know in the comments section below. If you want to see the latest in action figure news, you can find it all over at toynewseye.com. And if you want to follow me over on social media, check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!
Crispy.
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Your face.